I am Connor from Elite Airsoft, and today we're going to be installing a brand new gearbox in Carl's custom M4. Today we're going to be installing Carl's Aries Amoeba EFCS ECU front wired gearbox. Two main features are electric trigger response and a blue EFCS MOSFET. So first things first, we're going to be installing the gearbox into the lower receiver. It's a full metal lower receiver and it's made by SRC. First things I had to do though, actually, before measuring up the gearbox, was actually to shave a part off the lower receiver here so we could fit this rear part in. But once that's been done, it just fits in nice and tight, which is a good thing there. So first things first, let's put these motor wires into the back and line up the trigger. Now as you can see, it's still a little bit tight, but as soon as we line up the selector, we're good to go. Okay, so that pin goes in there first. Flip it over, put in the spring, and then this is the fiddly part, because on the back and we'll just have to tighten this up. As you can see, everything's matching spray job wise. I did a brilliant spray job on this, if I don't say so myself. So, spring loop on there. The stock tube on. Let's put this stock tube on the back. Big scroddy in. Tighten this up. And that's on solid. So that's that part done. Obviously we do need to add the stock, but that's mostly that part done. Pull that back, and then that's on. Easy. So now let's assemble the front part of the gun. So first things first, what I normally like to do is I like to add the barrel in here first, but because of the wiring issue, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually do it a little bit back to front. So I'm going to add the hop up and barrel in one. This is a CNC hop up unit, and I do believe inside we've got a G&G soft green hop up rubber as well. And it's really easy to adjust, and you can get some fine tuning on there as well, which is pretty good. Alright, so first things first, let's attach this in here. It is a little bit fiddly. That's that in. Now I'm going to slide this over the top now, and I'm going to push the wire in through. Right, so that's on there. I'm just going to secure it with a pin at the moment, just because you never know. I'm not going to push it through properly, I'm just going to hold it there at the minute. So, now we're going to have the barrel. Now this is actually a classic armour barrel, and with classic armour you can actually cut them down, this part, and readjust it and tighten it up with screws. So that's a good thing there if you want to change lengths of your barrels and whatnot. So you slide that down there. And this should clip into place like that. And that wiring's out of the way. So now, I'm going to start putting the front ras rail on. So what I've had to do is I've had to take the barrel out slightly. I have cut my finger here messing. And then obviously try and angle this and feed the wire through. It's a bit fiddly, but I've managed to do it in the end. I'm just going to keep this wire taut, as I push this down here. And then I'm just going to now screw this delta ring, kind of like a delta ring, on here. I will tighten this up after properly when I've aligned everything else. That's on there. That's that free ready. most people are going to say, look, that inner barrel's a bit long for that outer barrel, but we'll come up with that later. Just so you can see, I'm just going to double check if this that's working. Nice and pink on the inside. Very good. So that's that. And now I'm going to add the body pin in correctly. This body pin that's here at the moment seems a little bit tight, so I'm just going to remove this one and try the original one here. So, if you don't like seeing guns and hammers, look away now. And that's in there. So obviously Carl's going to be a peg box on here at the moment, like that. So what we're going to try and do as well is feed this to a point where we can actually get this to an angle where we can actually start plugging the peg box in. But first, what I'm going to do is, because I've actually got to screw this on, I'm going to screw it on first without getting this wire tangled up on it inside, and then I'm going to feed the wire through afterwards. That's an easier option. So, as you can see, this Tamiya connector's popping to the top here, and I think this is actually a perfect place for it to pop out as well. So after a bit of a struggle, we did finally get the wire through. This wiring though, it's really thick wiring, it's really heavy gauge wiring, so it's really tough. And it does, when you bend it, stay in a position. So I think that's one of the issues that we're having with it. So let's just now screw this up here and get this set. So, front accessories. Carl's got obviously a peg box, he does have a torch and things like that on front of his gun. You all are wondering what I'm doing with this. Well, this is actually an old tracer unit, and we've actually took all the internals out. So if you do break your tracer units, you can actually use them as like a barrel extender. And this one, we've actually measured it near enough perfectly to size, as you can see. Barrel just near enough. It doesn't even. It's just like you can just see it, you know, like popping out at the end. So we'll just put this on now, just so you can see what it looks like, and it is 14mm counterclockwise as well. It does seem a little bit wobbly, but as soon as it hits its tightness at the back, it all lines up, and that's on. See that? That's near enough bang on. That's awesome. You can also foam fill them as well. You know what I mean? Like what you get to protect piping. That's also good to put inside it. Just gives it that dull effect as well. Absorbs some air pressure coming out. So I'm going to add the peg box on first. With peg box, it's just simply a screw at side. Or peg box, which I call it. I call it peg box. Also, we're going to be adjusting the motor height and make sure the connectors on these wires are on, because they are brand new wires. They do tend to want to come loose now and again. So we'll just have to stop that. This is also fiddly. Right, that's that one on, and that red one's on there as well. Put the motor plate back on. Grindy. So I'm just going to loosen it off just a tad bit and see if it'll stop that grinding noise. It seems to be a little bit too loose now. That sounds a lot better. So let's remove my battery now. I'm just going to install Carl's battery on there. So now for the test fire. Make sure everything's working correctly. Obviously we ain't got all these bits and pieces on, but you get the idea. Everything's nice and solid. So single shot, trigger response on this gearbox is phenomenal, as you can see, and then full auto. And that's that set up. And always remember, unplug your lipos because it will drain them. So I'm Connor from Elite Airsoft. This has just been a quick overview on how to change a gearbox in a standard M4 shell or a typical M4 shell. So as well, you will see some gameplay action of his actual gun in action coming to an Airsoft game that we're doing this Sunday. So thank you for watching. I hope I've helped you out, give you a little insight on what's what. I know it's not an in-depth view like some of you want to see, but if you do want to see things like that, just drop us a comment, like us, or just send us a message and we'll go from there. But thank you for your time anyway, guys. Over and out!